Mr. Stanley,
Here.
Mr. Steineman,
Here.
Mr. Sternberg,
Here.
Mr. Harris,
Here.
and Ms. Spriggs here.
All right, as you can see, Ms. Spriggs is also our staff liaison. Welcome to that role. You'll be double dipping, I think. I guess with that, we can move to minutes. Do we have any motions regarding the minutes?
A motion to approve the minutes. I'll second.
A motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Minutes are approved. With that, we'll move to current business. Mackenzie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Brian mentioned, I'm going to just be stepping in as the liaison in the interim. But there is some good news. We have our master planner position, or our chief planner, I think is actually what it's called. That position is posted, and I know that they have interviews coming here shortly, and so that person will likely be taking this back over, which we'll get into down in the downtown master plan. So regarding the Sandusky City Hall Gallery, I just wanted to bring up, this got approved at the last meeting, but I did make some minor modifications with a revised timeline. Actually, I'm going to bring it up on your screen, so hold on one second. And admit whoever just came.
Yes, this is.
Hi there, Michelle. Alrighty, guys. So just a couple modified dates that today basically would be our call for artists and to begin distributing that. I had a chat with Brian. I think we're going to push it heavy on the online and then use you guys as resources in your different capacities to share with the artists that you know. All the other dates are, I guess, like I made some of the gaps smaller. The application deadline got moved back about 10 days, and then we're meeting basically the other timelines so that it will be up this summer. So I wanted to share that timeline, and then we had in our last meeting come up with, we'd like a staff person to be a part of this, a part of this committee, and Tandra Frisbee, who is our recreation youth coordinator, will be joining and helping us in that capacity, and she's very excited. So that rounds out our committee of 5 for this group.
May I interrupt for 1 second? On the call for artists, the first paragraph, it says it's limited to Erie County residents, and in the minutes we made it open to everyone last time, with preference being given to local people.
Cable, you're correct. I went through and I edited it, that I saw that it was in the selection criteria, but that, you know, additional points might be given if you were a Sandusky resident, but I missed that part. So yeah, I'll edit that. And this is online right now at cityofsandusky.com / I think it's public art. But yeah, I will edit that and can change that first line.
Great, thank you. Anybody else have any comments or questions regarding the timeline or the selection committee? If not, I guess we'll move to old business. I'm sorry, Mackenzie, did I jump in there? Were you finished?
I'm finished.
Okay, gotcha.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Yep. Old business, downtown master plan.
Yeah, so if I can, Mr. Chairman, through you, I just wanted to provide an update again, as this committee is a little bit in transition, but with the new chief planner that's coming on board, the downtown master plan will be one of their key responsibilities. So I just wanted to share with you that that was still at the forefront of like our chief development director's mind. But this new person that's going to be responsible for this committee right here and the downtown master plan, like that those two projects go hand in hand. So I just wanted to let you know that that's, you know, going to be just delayed a little bit. But from what I can tell, the candidates that we've gotten for that position are really great. And so they're very hopeful that we'll have somebody here joining us again soon.
Awesome. Just have a little speed bump in order to serve the greater good of the long-term vision, I guess, right? Great. So sounds like things are moving forward there. New business. I introduced the Bloomberg Asphalt Art Initiative grant. Mackenzie, did you want to comment on that at all, or should you want me to run with it?
So I do have, if you want to maybe give an overview of the grant, and then I have some city feedback that I'd like to share, so I can jump in at the end.
Yeah, great. So I ran across the Bloomberg Asphalt Art Initiative. It's a grant in the amount of $25,000 given to cities across the country. It's the second round of grant applications, and this round is due for the calendar year 2022. So we're kind of jumping ahead a little bit on our work plan, but I thought time was of the essence when I saw the grant. So I wanted to bring it up and see what everyone's thoughts were on pursuing that. Mackenzie was able to share, I think, 3 different websites for everyone to kind of take a look at and get a good feel for what they're asking for. And I wanted to bring it to this commission to see if it was something that we would like to pursue or not. I mean, time, like I mentioned, time is of the essence. We have 10 days until the submittal is due. So hopefully we can come to a resolution one way or the other tonight. With that, Mackenzie, you have anything to add?
Yeah, absolutely. So through you, Mr. Chairman, I did share this with some city staff who basically gave us the go-ahead to apply for it if there is interest on this committee, and that we have willing personnel to kind of put forth the time to put in an application. From there, we started brainstorming locations. Obviously, downtown would be great, but it seems like doing the asphalt and the art and crosswalks is, you know, a secondary phase to the actual planning of the downtown, and that probably won't be done in time for this grant. So we started talking about other places throughout the rest of the city. And I am going to share my screen again just to show you guys, you know, a map so we can talk through, you know, some of those. The 3 key ones I would say that came up were, and if I guess I could rewind, this grant really is to make things more safe for pedestrians and bring attention to crosswalks and I mean, in addition to enliven parts of the community, which we all know that art does. So over here on Huron Ave, when we're getting towards Huron and Wayne and like the stop actually at like Huron and Hancock, I would say that came up as one that they get a lot of speed right here going down Huron Ave, and then frequently blow through those stop signs right there. And so that feels very unsafe for pedestrians at Huron and Hancock and at Huron and Wayne. So those being both points of interest. Additionally, I don't know what you guys call these. We call these East and West Park in the city. But as we all know, this 5-point stop is very confusing for pedestrians. And so bringing a lot of attention to that, as well as there are businesses right there. And then the final one is over here Over here, right by Better Half and on Washington, where it transitions, that there are quite a few businesses there, and just with really wide streets, and these streets right there into Shelby being a little bit confusing to people, that those are all key points where there are a lot of businesses. And the neighborhood would benefit as well. So those were 3 spots that our planning and engineering department came up with. I guess then just I wanted to share that our engineer did have some concerns if things happen to the asphalt, as in if it cracks or that type of thing. We only have black sealant. So for us to be considerate of, is this something that we would want to do at like a big a big asphalt ask, or not just the intersections, and that it's an area that we might want to creatively redo every couple years, or however long it lasts. But if the art does crack, all we have available is black sealant. So that was a concern he had, but that wasn't, he was fully supportive, just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a deal breaker, but good input nevertheless. So I guess we'll open it up to questions and comments to see if the commission would like to pursue this grant first, and then if we can come to a consensus on that, we can look at a location before we move to produce the application. So with that, I'll open it up to questions or comments.
This is Jordan. I like the idea. I think it's good to apply for sure. Seems like a great initiative. Especially, I mean, I've been to bigger cities. I think of like Santa Monica area. There's a lot of cool things with the pier, like they're near their pier with street art, and obviously safety is a pretty big thing too. But I agree with the locations that Mackenzie pointed out. Probably that one over on what is it? It was by Huron Park. Was probably one of the ones that I always get like tripped up, because it used to be like a street light there, and now it's a 4-way stop, but it's got some weird angles. So that one to me seemed like it stood out the most if we were talking about locations. But I think overall could be really unique, and it's a good point with the deterioration. How do we handle that? But I think it'd be worth more discussion on how that gets talked about in the future.
I have a question. When you talked about sealant, I mean, isn't there any other type of sealant that's available? I mean, other than a black sealant that could be used if there was some kind of crack or damage?
I'm sure that there are different color sealants, but I think his greater point was just, that if you're trying to color match or you're doing anything like that, like what we have in-house is black.
Okay.
Well, the materials that I read through today also suggested that most of these cities are putting these things in place only on a temporary basis. So I think deterioration is expected, and they have a shelf life of 2 to 3 years, is what I read.
Yeah, that's right, Cable. It's kind of where I was headed with this. It's kind of long to be called temporary, but it really is just a year or two. Especially, you start to introduce a lot of traffic depending on what intersection this is at. You start to introduce salt in the wintertime. There's going to be deterioration. It's to be expected, I think. It's just a kind of a temporary project that could turn into something larger.
Do we have to choose an intersection, or is that something that can come later? Or
yeah, so I think today we need to figure out if we want to pursue it, and B, really come up with that intersection soon. That's going to be the basis on all the materials that needs to be submitted in 10 days.
Mackenzie, is 10 days reasonable to get something in place?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. So, Yes, I mean, if we agree here today, it goes in front of the city commission for their approval on Monday, and that's just a simple, through the manager's report by motion, and they vote that, yes, we are allowed to apply for this. So I think that there's some work and some brain surgery to be done, but if this is something that the commission wants to do, I think it's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, Cable, I volunteered to take that up. I know the city's pretty short-staffed right now, so I do have some time to put this together and run some things back and forth with Mackenzie, as well as the commission. If anyone else has ever applied for a grant or would have any other input, I'd be open to hear it.
I'll just add my 2 cents worth because my phone is buzzing. I'm going to run, but I would add with Jordan that the Hancock and Huron Avenue seems best to me, and probably the most. Yeah.
I like that idea also.
I agree.
I'll make a motion to support pursuing this grant for the intersection of Huron and Hancock.
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to not only pursue the grant, but also look at Huron and Hancock intersection. Is everyone on board with that as far as one motion? I don't want to leave anybody out there. If anybody has any other ideas as far as location.
I think just for the sake of discussion, Mr. Chairman, that if this is something that we wanted to get the neighborhood involved in, we will be adding our neighborhood coordinator soon back to our planning department, and that's something we can pull him on or in on. But I think any one of these is like a good location that kind of like incorporates a neighborhood as well as, where neighborhoods meet businesses.
Yeah, I was just trying to formalize the motion and the second, just so we're not tying ourselves into one location without really hearing any other options from any other commissioners. But we do have a motion and a second, so any further discussion?
Thanks for bringing the idea to the table.
Yeah, ran across it. You're welcome. Just thought it would fit well in the city. So with that, I guess we'll have a roll call vote, if we could, Kenzie.
Ms. Carrington?
Aye. Yes.
Mr. Parthmore?
Aye.
Mr. Ramsdell?
Yes.
Mr. Stanley?
Yes.
Mr. Steineman?
Yes.
Mr. Sternberg?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Ms. Newell?
Yes.
Ms. Spriggs? Yes.
Great, that motion passes. Do we have any other new business to bring to the table today?
Marcia, did you want to share your show?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, finally, Carrington Arts is gonna have their first show of the year. And it's opening on Friday, April 30th. The opening reception is from 4:30 to 8:30. It's a solo show by artist Ken Arthur of Mansfield. It was a show that was supposed to happen last year, and it was canceled due to COVID. Like my last couple of shows, reservations for the opening reception are required for 20-minute intervals, but after the opening, for regular hours, there's no reservation required. So, and there's postcards, promo postcards around town, and there'll be something in the paper probably early next week as well. So I'm excited. Finally.
Getting back to somewhat normal, right?
Yeah, well, somewhat.
Somewhat, huh? Aside from the reservations.
Yeah. And no wine, no beer, no food, which is a drag, but we're doing what we can. So
Great. Without hearing any other items for new business, I'll entertain the motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
We're adjourned. Thank you, folks. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Have a good
All
evening.
right.
Thank you.
Great seeing you
Bye-bye.
guys.
See you later.
Bye.